Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited to be chatting to my close friend and close collaborator and group coaching leader and bikini model competitor, Ayana. Is it Ayana Pilar Fuentes or Ayana Fuentes?
Ayana Pilar Fuentes.
The
Yes.
whole thing. Okay,
Yes.
got it. So, Ayana, can you share a little bit with everybody who's watching, a little bit about your experience, just a mini background with especially with the fitness component, so people understand just why we get along so well and why we love to work together, and yeah, just a mini bio in the fitness department.
Hey, yeah, no, I will make it short and sweet. So I've always loved working out. I've always loved the gym. So my older brother exposed me to that. And so I always wanted to compete. So I would always look at the magazines when we still used to have magazines in fitness. And I wanted to do that, but I was always like, I can't, I shouldn't, whatever. So finally, we decided, okay, let's do it. And so I did compete for 4 years in the NPC
Mhm,
in bikini,
mhm,
and that is the first level,
yeah,
right? So, and that was between 2010, 2014, that era when
mhm,
it was just starting out.
mm,
And I just enjoyed it so much. And there was a lot of lessons learned, but we can tap into that later. But I loved it so much, I just kept the lifestyle. And so even after that, I kept the lifestyle up until maybe right before the shutdown in 2020. I had gotten back up in my weight because I stopped all the good habits.
mm.
So I used that shutdown time to get it back. And so I've been maintaining ever since.
Nice. And we talk every single day, so I know exactly how experienced and well-versed you are in everything nutrition and fitness, reverse dieting, all this stuff. So let's focus this mini conversation on what I have noticed is the biggest pain point for people, which is a lot of our audience is in the carnivore community, and a lot of them gravitate to carnivore in order to lose weight. And the biggest thing, the most common thing that I see them fall for, because it's a very easy to sell, is this priming protocol whereby you're told you don't necessarily have to work out, you don't have to track your calories. All you need to do is just focus on overcoming your sugar addiction and food addiction by eating as much as you can. Actually, they are actively encouraged to eat 3 times more, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I think it's like 3 times more than usual, like overly stuffing themselves. And I did an interview with animal-based Latina. She used to be called Carnivore Latina, New Yorker,
Yes.
who was she came from that world. She actually worked for them for free, and she managed the group coaching, and so she was there for all of the meetings. And so we're talking to somebody who is very close to the source of the priming protocol. I'm not sure if that's the source, but I know that that world is very popular to do that. And she was, for 3 years straight, she was continuously, I'm going to link that video so you guys can watch how priming ruined her life, so people can watch it. So for 3 years straight, she bought into that, and she bought into the community. And given that she was working in that community, so she believed it even more, and she kept eating more and more and more meat, all that kind of stuff. And she kept gaining weight, like 50 pounds higher, and she still has not lost the weight. Because the idea behind priming is like you do it for a while and then you fast, and like the fasting's supposed to help you shed weight. Both of those, the priming protocol is disastrous, and the fasting is worse because you're slowing down your metabolism even more. And we're going to do another
Yes.
little thing on reverse dieting so people understand why you do not, under any circumstances, want to fast, because most of most of you have come into this with damaged metabolism because of you dieted and never corrected it. So
Mhm.
tell me your experience with priming.
So I was in one of those groups, and so I was exposed to it because when I first started Carnivore in 2021, I just wanted to absorb all the information I could get. So when I started hearing that, it never rung true for me as far as what I know would work for myself.
Because you're a
I,
competitor, so you know exactly
yes,
how calories work and all that stuff.
exactly. And that was the C word. You do not say the word calories.
Really?
And it was like, you do not say that word. You do not. And so, you know, you can kind of dance your way around it, but you can't. Anyways, so I knew because I do track and I do know where my maintenance is about. It can vary from time to time depending on how active I am, but I know what my maintenance is. And so I knew that with the density of meat and fat, not lean protein, we're talking about fatty meat, that it was encouraged that if you're eating that, they would say, and you know, these groups would say, okay, so eat breakfast, even if you're not hungry, and always eat past being full. Like kind of Thanksgiving dinner stuffed. I don't know if the wording has changed, but that's what I was always told.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
That
have
they
a
would
snack.
say Thanksgiving level stuffed.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I think the wording has changed. I think now it's eat past full.
Mm.
And they've changed it. But anyways, and then it would be a snack,
Mm-hmm.
lunch, same thing, snack, dinner, same thing. That would be like the first week. The next week would be take out the snacks and do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, eat past full. So this would last 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm.
And they would often encourage more if you were not over your sugar addiction or if you were still having some ailments. They would suggest to continue the priming
Okay.
before moving into the fasting, which would go down to 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day, and whatever.
Mm.
And I personally was never interested because I don't want to feel stuffed. Number one, I
Yeah.
don't like it. And in order for me to feel stuffed on a carnivore diet, that's a lot of food for me.
Yeah.
Okay, to do that. So I knew that was out. And because I knew I would be hitting well over 2000 calories. And I know that my maintenance for me, I would love to change this eventually and get it
Yeah.
higher. But for me, my maintenance is always between 1850 and 2000.
Right.
Uh, and that's with exercise.
Okay.
So
Have
that's, you know,
have they ever was there any other potential way explored as well, or was it like almost like a dogmatic, like that's it, we just do priming, we stuff ourselves and we fast? And if like, because I know almost everybody's gaining weight, and now that I'm creating content with that, people are reaching out, they're sending me DMs, they're emailing me. It's way
mhm,
worse than what I
mhm.
originally even thought it could be.
Okay. Well, I know that it's a choice. You don't have to do it to be part of the group, but it's a choice. And I also know that it's very enticing, however, because that's the majority of the meetings. And so, you know, they have the before and afters of certain people improving skin, losing weight, but it's very few and far between after I really dug deep. And they also don't encourage exercise during this priming phase.
Right, because the idea is like you have to heal before you work out, whereby it's really like the excess body fat that's not helping you heal, right? What you really want to do is lose the fat because that's causing inflammation. And
Yeah, yeah.
right, and so here's why both ends of this protocol, why they both don't work. The priming is only furthering the sickness because you're gaining more and more and more body fat, and so the fat cells are releasing more and more inflammatory molecules, which are messing up with all of your other hormones. And the habits that you develop, it takes very little to kick you out of the momentum. So, you know, to do the priming, is it like a 2-week phase to prime?
Yeah, 2 week and often encouraged more
Mm,
if you need it for, like you just said, the
right.
healing or the
Right.
addiction.
So you're only feeling worse and worse, and you're getting depressed because you're gaining more body fat. The vast majority of people, there is a very, very, very tiny sliver of the population that's very difficult for them to gain body fat. They actually turn that excess calories into heat. It dissipates as heat. But the vast majority of people are going to gain weight and quickly, and that's going to make you depressed. And what happens when you're depressed? You're more likely to engage in addictive foods or behaviors.
Yes, exactly. And the thing is that the ones that I probably saw where, okay, oh, you lost weight. Number one, we don't know what everybody's doing behind closed doors. But the one thing is, if they came from a severe under eating background, well, of course it's going to work for you because you were under eating. So obviously that's going to work for you. Or like you said, if you are a naturally leaner, like ectomorph kind of person, someone who it takes a lot to, let's say, build muscle, gain
Right.
weight, period.
Right.
Right. So
Asian,
those,
as well. If you're Asian,
yes,
it's a
yes.
very difficult. Maria Emmerich talks about this a lot. I love the way that she frames it, the personal fat threshold. So if you're Asian, you just genetically have a very, very, very difficult time depositing excess calories subcutaneously under the skin. This does not mean you're getting healthy overall. You might, if you can, just do the priming for a short period of time and it's not affecting your mental health because you're not gaining body fat, so you're good. But yeah, just because it doesn't show, just because you don't gain body fat because of your Asian genetics does not mean that the vast majority of the people are going to follow suit. And I think we're seeing that in the comments and the DMs, and you're exposed to that as well.
Exactly. Because I get private messages too as well. And they're just like, I can't lose weight, this and that. I've been priming and I'm no longer with that group, but I just remember I would get DMs because I was vocal. And so
Really?
I would get, yeah, because I would be like, I don't know if this is, gonna help or whatever, or I would reach out to somebody out of sheer concern, like, are you okay? And, and then they would start talking to me and I was like, oh, well, honey, you probably need to do this or that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really, it kind of it was heartbreaking at times.
Yeah. And this
Mhm.
is why this is so important that we're creating content on this topic, because I feel this is exactly what people are searching for. This is
Mhm.
exactly their pain point. This is exactly where they're at in their mentality right now, especially the people who are gravitating towards carnivore. Usually it's like the end road. They try everything and then finally, okay, well, keto, even keto didn't work. Maybe
Yes.
carnivore. And then you get into carnivore and everybody's talking about priming. And so it's our responsibility.
Mhm.
Especially like I was on the first ever TV show called Reverse TV, right? That talked
Yes.
about the carnivore diet. So I feel it's like my responsibility to shed light on this, because everybody's getting sucked in, and then I have to deal, and you are having to deal with, with what everybody already knows is going to happen. You're going to gain weight, and you're not going to heal. You're just going to get sicker and you're going to feel worse.
Mhm.
And then you're going to fast and you're going to slow down your metabolism even more. And just, you're never going to be able to really get to what you thought carnivore was going to do for you. And it's bad because I want people to understand the carnivore is great. I want to promote
Yeah,
carnivore. I do believe it is the optimal human diet, and it's just I don't want it to get a bad rep because of a lack of understanding of how to help somebody achieve real fitness and then maintain it.
exactly. Yeah. And I feel that, you say this a lot. And I love that you say this. And I definitely want to, push this out there as well, is that it's good to follow or get help from some people that have experience that you might be experiencing if they've experienced it in the past. Both you and I were significantly overweight
Yeah,
before, and we lost the weight,
right.
and also we work hard at keeping it off,
Yeah,
as well as we have body types that are not the lean and physiques that
yeah.
are hard to gain.
Right, we're not
Right, we don't
ectomorph
have those.
for sure. Yeah,
No, we're
we do
not.
not,
We
any excess calories we ingest go straight into our brain. But I think it's our strength because we can relate to 99% of the population better, because the vast majority of the population shares our genes, right? It shares our genetics. And so I understand exactly where they're coming from, and I
Yes.
understand
Yeah.
also the search for answers, because I was that person. It's like, oh, it's my hormones. I convinced my functional medicine doctor once, because when you understand like the science at a deeper level, it becomes easier to get your doctor to do exactly what you want him to do. Sorry, Waldo, he's great. So I had him prescribe me thyroid medications because I brought all this literature to him to convince him that my thyroid panel does indeed show that I'm hypothyroid. It's like, no, 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 trust me, look at this study, or look at this. And so I got myself the thyroid medication. Of course, it didn't do anything. Because it's not, even if your hormones aren't optimized, this is something that I see a lot of. So there are accounts that are like blowing up, just talking about like, just go out and look at the sun, or like reset your leptin. Like that's show me one impressive physique that achieved that by looking at the sun and resetting the circadian rhythm. Not to say like you shouldn't do that to optimize health, but that's not how you're going to get your ideal physique.
Exactly. It's, and I really would urge people to, yes, carnivore is great. And, even if you're ketovore, whatever label you want to put on yourself, and exercise is a necessity as well. And, they go hand in hand. A lot of influencers, I notice it's changing a little bit, but in the beginning, it was not really about exercise too. And that's part of the healthy lifestyle.
Right, exactly.
So,
Right. If you want to improve your health, you want to move your body. Also, again, the whole priming protocol is founded by a very low level of understanding of what is a root cause of addiction, which is a low baseline dopamine level. So, okay, so how do we increase that? There are different tools, and we've already talked about this. I don't want to turn this into my brain, the brain rehab protocol, which is like the dopamine brain guide and the monster mindset guide. We'll talk about those in some other sessions, but like we know exactly how to raise our baseline dopamine, right? And that targets the root cause of addiction. Just not developing the habit of moving your body is not you're not going to overcome addiction. And at the end of the day, everybody's going to figure it out. And I think people are starting to figure it out,
yeah.
it's just everybody goes through that phase where it's like, maybe that'll work. Maybe I don't have to count calories, and eventually they all figure it out. And in a way it's good, because it's kind of like a dead end. It's like, where do you go from it? Where it's more restrictive than carnivore. You have nowhere else to go now. Now let's do the work. Now you
Exactly.
finally actually have to do the work.
Exactly. I agree
Yeah.
100%. I do. Love that.
And I want to keep it short and sweet. So I'm going to set us up for the next video where we're going to talk about why the fasting and the priming protocol is even worse because it slows down metabolism, and how do you actually speed up your metabolism. So I'm going to end it here, and we're actually going to shoot the second video right after. So,
Yes.
Ayana, let's tell everybody that we're doing group coaching, and you're leading the group coaching, right? We're starting again.
Yeah. Yes. I'm so excited.
Yes, me too. So it's going to be every Sunday and Wednesday. The dates, the specific times are on my website. I'll make sure I'll put the link. I'm
Yes.
going to show up on the first session of every month, and you're going to lead the rest, because you know exactly how to do this, you know exactly how to
Yes.
teach people how to speed up their metabolism, how to follow carnivore, or if they don't want to follow carnivore, you don't have, believe it or not, you don't have
Yes.
to just follow carnivore if you want to lose weight.
I know. Exactly. Yes. We'll talk about all the things, macros, carnivore, exercise,
Yes.
addiction, all of that.
Especially the reverse dieting process, that I feel this is such a hands-on approach. People don't get how closely you need to be monitored. And so the group
Yes.
coaching is going to be so helpful, and you've done it multiple times. You know exactly the ropes and how to reverse diet somebody out and speed up their metabolism, or help them lose weight, then do a reverse diet. And there's so
Yeah.
many different combinations depending on the mindset of that person and how much they can they can tolerate. And
Yes.
and I know you
And
can
commit
do
to.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that. Also, where can people find you so they can follow you on your Instagram, on your YouTube, all the good stuff?
Yes. It's all at Pilar Fit Vegas, and it's at Pilar Fit Vegas on Instagram, YouTube. TikTok is at Pilar Fit LV. But yes,
Okay.
those are my handles.
I want to ask you one more time about your, I know you're gonna like kill me now because we've been talking like almost every day for years now.
Uh-huh.
And I keep asking you about your name. So it's Ayana Pilar
Uh-huh.
Fuentes. Is it like a middle name? The Pilar.
Yes, so I use my middle name in my handles. So yes, my first name is Ayana, but my handle is my middle name Pilar. And so
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
yes, so
Okay.
that's me.
And your friends and family, do they just say Ayana or they say Pilar?
Ayana. They call me Ayana.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. See, when I
Yes,
grew
yes.
up, in Lebanon, we don't have a middle name.
Oh,
Funny story.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
wow.
and it's a patriarchal society, like the Middle East. So
Yeah.
when they ask you, so when I was filling out my passport, because the first time I ever made a passport was to come straight to UM to Miami to do my doctorate, right? So,
Uh-huh.
and I was filling out everything, I was doing everything myself and also the paperwork for the universities, and they will all ask you about the middle name. So I was like, what's my middle name? In Lebanon, they don't ask you for the middle name, they ask you for your full name. Like if they ask you what is your full name, you put your first
Uh-huh.
name, your dad's name, and your last
Uh-huh.
name. And my dad's name was Henry. So when I was filling out the passport and everything, and it was like, okay, for my passport and for the University of Miami and all the, what's your middle name? I'm like, let me be extra careful and give them all the information they want because I wanted to guarantee that I was leaving Lebanon. So I was like, okay, Sarah, middle name, Henry, Adwan. And Adwan is my maiden name. And so for like seven years straight at UM, and even at Miami-Dade College, because I started teaching at Miami-Dade College while I was, still on my maiden name. Everywhere,
Yeah.
my name was like Sarah Henry Adwan.
That is hilarious. I never knew that. Oh my goodness, because living out here in the United States, especially on the West Coast where we have a lot of Hispanic Americans, my husband is Mexican American.
Right.
They have so many names.
True.
They
Yeah.
have so many. I'm like,
Right.
what?
Well, I
Yeah.
taught in Miami for decades, right? And all my students, a lot of them are Hispanic or Cuban American, and it's like
Yeah.
the first name, the middle name, the last name, another last name, and I'm like, oh
Yes.
my God, I know it's crazy, but yeah, that was like so funny. It's like Sarah Henry, who's Sarah Henry?
That is too funny. Wow. I love that. I
Anyway,
do that. Yeah.
alrighty, let's close this one down and start the reverse dieting slash why fasting is not good for you right now. Thank you everybody for
Okay.
watching. Follow Ayana, sign up for our group coaching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yes.
Bye.